Welcome back, everyone, to the channel here on Tyson's Tennis Tips, and only one place to start. Huge news breaking this week: Roger Federer retiring at the age of 41. Jaya, starting with you, can you sum up what Federer has done for the game and your thoughts on the main man?
Well, yeah, it was a very emotional evening on Friday night when Federer announced his retirement after playing with his rival, Rafael Nadal, in an epic doubles match. I thought it was a great way to go out and end a phenomenal career. Obviously, he's got many titles, many Grand Slams, but for me, I think what really strikes me most about his career is just the person he was on and off the court, the millions of people he inspired. And I think that sort of speaks louder than the titles he's won and all the success he's actually had on the tennis court, but the legacy he's left behind. So for me, a legend of the game that will never be forgotten, and can sleep very well for the rest of his life knowing he's had such a great career.
Yeah, absolutely. Niels, what have your thoughts been this week with the huge news of Roger Federer retiring? What did you make of the player?
Obviously, Roger Federer is the greatest tennis player of all time. And there are so many tribute videos that are dedicated to him. And it doesn't matter how many Grand Slams you win, Roger Federer is the reason the game of tennis is where it's at today. Without him, the game of tennis would not be where it's at. He's just got this passion for the sport, the love for the sport. He's a class act. He's elegant on court. There's nothing he can't do. And I think, for me, personally, I think that's what he's brought to the game more than his titles. What he's brought for me is he's shown that even though he's this unbelievable tennis player and he's this guy that's got everything under control, he's just this kid who loves to play tennis. That is, at the end of the day, that is what he is. That is what he loves. That's for me what, that's what you see on court. And he's just obviously an icon, and he's just done everything he can do. And I think for me, it's a very sad time, but obviously we have to, let him move on. He's given everything he's given everything he could give to the sport. And I think now is a good time for him to move on and, do other things. He's got a family as well. So, absolutely hats off to an amazing and fantastic career. And, we wish him all the best for the future, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, Niels, we'll come on to what's next for Roger Federer a little bit later in the podcast. But talking of sad scenes and emotional times, obviously his last match pairing up with, his arch rival, really, in Rafael Nadal. Really sad scenes at the end of that match. But what did you make of that match? Jaya, coming to you on that one first. What did you make of the big doubles match at the Laver Cup, which we're into the final day now, day 3 at the O2 in London? What did you make of that doubles match, Jaya?
Well, it was a doubles match that I don't think anyone has seen quite like. I mean, just seeing two great rivals pair up on the same side of the court and finish an unbelievable career for Federer, I think is unbelievable. And in terms of like the match itself, I felt like they both handled the emotions really well. They enjoyed the moment. I think they enjoyed the team atmosphere. The jokes were cracking all the time at the change of ends. And I just felt it was a really nice way to go out in a team environment. And I think Federer even said in one of his, latest interviews that he's always been a team player at heart. And even though, tennis is often a very individual sport, I think having that team on his side really sort of helped get him over the finish line and enjoy his last match of his career. And in terms of playing with Rafael Nadal, Rafa's obviously spoken about how much of a privilege it's been to not only play with Federer in that last match, but to be his rival over these last few decades. And he was one of the main reasons why Rafa kept on coming back after surgeries, kept on fighting for those big trophies and trying to improve his own game. And that's a lot of credit goes to Federer and obviously Novak, Andy, of course, we can't count them out. So yeah, just a magical evening and a great way to cap off an unbelievable career.
No, completely echo those words, Jaya. And Niels, obviously the Laver Cup 2022 happening currently in London, as I was just saying. What did you make of that final emotional match for Federer and of the tournament itself this year, because it is growing, isn't it, in how popular it is becoming?
Yeah, for sure. I think Rafa and Federer have this, when you look at all these videos on YouTube where you see through the years what's happened between these two. I mean, they've played each other so many times and it's gone either way. And I think they've created a beautiful friendship based on the fact that they both love the sport. It's as simple as that, really, for me. And Jaya said it fantastically well. I don't think I'd need to add too much to that. I think it's just the fact that these two have just done everything. And obviously, and Novak and Andy as well, obviously. But for me, the front runners, obviously, are Roger and Rafa. And I think we can all say thanks to these two, because I don't think we will ever witness anything like that ever again in terms of the dominance purely of one person in the sport for an amount of years, where you think when that person steps on court, really it's game over really before the match has even started.
One player, Niels, sorry to jump in there, but one player to mention quickly about that, Alcaraz. We've been calling him for a while, hasn't he? He could be someone to take over, do you think, from Federer?
Well, I mean, first of all, just before I say that, I'd say Federer and Nadal, obviously amazing. I mean, it's just fantastic, and I think it was a fantastic end and a fitting end. And I think Federer played that very well in the fact that he showed everybody that rivals are rivals on court, but off court these two get on so fantastically well. And I think I respect, and I think that shows that as Jai said, it's an individual sport. People is the most important thing. So at the end of the day, even in the sport like that, you can see the Laver Cup unites everybody, and you can see it. They all get on really well, and they all help each other, and that is the main goal. To Alcaraz quickly, Alcaraz is extraordinary. I think he's going to at least probably win a 9 or 10, 100%. I don't know if he will win 20 though, because you can't forget that he has in the past 2-3 months lost some smaller tournaments, obviously against guys like Yannick Sinner and other guys. So he's not superhuman. We've seen that he can lose, and he's only 19 as well, so he's still got a lot to learn. Don't forget that Rafa only won his first Grand Slam when he was 20. Roger only won his first when he was 22. So there's he's ahead of the curve, but that doesn't mean anything. We've seen that and I'm saying that from my place. I love Aliassime. He's my favorite player, but we've seen that he was the chosen one, and he's not really proven anything yet, has he? I mean, he's on the way. But anyway, and for the Laver Cup, I think the Laver Cup is just a fantastic way of showing everybody that tennis is first of all fun, and I think that is the most important thing. And you see that the way they get, as what Jai said, they goof around, they crack jokes, they warm up together, play little games. It's just, you can see that there's just an electric atmosphere which everybody wants, and it's just so different. There's no points, so for them it's just the pure fun and the pure passion of the sport, and that's where you see who really loves it and who doesn't. So I'd say an amazing event.
Yeah, no, it's like when we're coaching, going back to the point, Niels, about it being fun. We all know how important it is during a coaching session to make it first and foremost fun, and then the teaching follows from there. Jai, I say we are into day 3 at the Laver Cup. Team Europe currently 8-4 up against Team World, but how do you see that finishing?
Well, they've still got quite a few matches to play, and obviously, the last day they've got 3 points on offer. So really, it's still anyone's game, and I feel like this is probably the best year that Team World have in terms of the scoreline going into the 3rd day. So I still feel like Team World have got every chance to somewhat turn it round from that sort of 8-4 scoreline and potentially race to 13 a little bit before Team Europe. So they've got some big matches today. They've got Felix playing. They've got Casper Ruud against Tsitsipas, I want to say. I think that's right. I think last match on. But they've got a lot of big players on both teams. So every match is an exciting one. The atmosphere is unbelievable. And this is the sort of atmosphere that these players play for. They play for these moments. They play for these big stages to play in front of thousands of people, millions of people watching on TV. So that's what brings out the best tennis. So we're lucky to witness what we've witnessed so far in these first 2 days, and hopefully Team World can bring the fire for the last day.
No, absolutely. And I think the big match today, looking at the fixture list, Djokovic, Aliassime, I think that's going to be a thriller. Berrettini and Murray currently on against Aliassime and Sock at the moment in the doubles. I think Team Europe have won the first set there, but that's going to be a really big match coming up today, and it'll be interesting to see how that finishes. But another aspect, we look at the Ryder Cup in golf, Niels, the Laver Cup with tennis, I think it is going to hopefully continue to grow. I know that they're going to obviously have it in other countries around the world in sort of the next few years. I think Vancouver's been mentioned, and Berlin, I believe, coming up. So I think it's definitely, Niels, a tournament that's going to keep on growing.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's flip it back then to Roger Federer. And Niels, I'll ask you this first. What do you think is next for the big hitting Swiss tennis player? What do you think is coming next for Roger Federer?
I think Roger Federer, I obviously do not know him, but from what I've seen from the many years of his interviews and his playing days and just the way he is, and he has said when he retires he wants to coach at the Rafa Nadal Academy because they know each other so well and they get on so well. I think Federer is, before anything, just somebody who just loves to play tennis. And with everything he's learned, with everything he's done in the last 20 years, I think he should, and I think he will, teach tennis. I mean, who better to teach tennis than the guy who's literally the best tennis player of all time, you know? And I think he's that type of guy when he's coaching. I don't think he will really care if he coaches kids who want to become pro or kids who just want to play for fun or just adults. So I think coaching, I think first of all, he's going to take a break because he's got 4 kids and he's got a wife and, they've traveled with him for so long. So I think it's time for him to give back and just spend time with them and just enjoy his time off because he's worked so unbelievably hard for the last 23 years. He's not exactly in the best state he's ever been in. He's got a knee problem, and he is getting older. At the end of the day, he is 40, what is he? 41 years old. That's quite, in tennis years, that's quite old, So I think first of all, enjoy his retirement for a little bit, which he should, because, he's somebody who's just given everything he has. So I think it's time for him to rest. And I think after that, I think we would all love to see him back in the game of tennis. Just like John McEnroe said, like whether it's coaching or whether it's, being Davis Cup captain or just, I don't know,
Laver
being
Cup
a coach
captain,
maybe on the tour.
Yeah.
On the tour, maybe, who knows, that'd be awesome. Maybe helping because there's some young Swiss players coming through, so maybe doing that. Anyway, hopefully he stays around the game. That's what we would all want and love. So, all the best to him, and we'll see.
We'll see, for sure. Jaya, little prediction. What do you think is coming next for Roger Federer? Do you agree with Niels on the coaching route?
Yeah, I can only really echo what Niels has just said. I mean, I think he's got the ability to fulfill most sort of positions in tennis, whether that be on the coaching, mentoring side, broadcasting, commentary, that sort of thing. So there's many opportunities. That's the beauty of the sport, is there's so many opportunities within tennis, not just one thing playing, one thing coaching. There's plenty of other things they can do. So I think wherever he goes, he's going to have success, no doubt about it. But first and foremost, it's just definitely enjoying these next few months, officially retired and spending time with the family and his close ones. And then I'm sure he will, in that period, start to think about what he would like to do. But I think I could definitely see him in a commentary position for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
And also, mentoring maybe new up and coming Swiss players, who do want to reach the top of the game. But I'm sure we'll soon find out.
No, definitely. I think I can see him being a huge ambassador around the world for tennis, and I can see him sort of traveling around quite a bit, doing quite a bit of TV work. But yes, I think the coaching route is the obvious. You look at Roger Federer and you can see him in that position. Just looking at Alcaraz's coach, is it Ferrero, I believe? Yeah, so something similar to that, perhaps, taking a young player like you guys have both been saying up through the ranks to become a Grand Slam champion. Who knows? Time will tell. But thanks again, guys, for sharing your thoughts on that. It's a massive, it's the biggest tennis story of the year, maybe of many years. So huge news. We'll be really sad to see Federer retire. Every tournament will not be the same without him, but we have got the young guns coming through: Aliassime, Alcaraz. You've got the likes of Tsitsipas still around, Zverev as well, and Dominic Thiem. So yeah, lots to be excited about for our great sport. We'll call it there for today. Keep an eye out, everyone at home, on the Laver Cup that finishes later on today. Team Europe currently in control, but as these guys were saying, 3 points on offer for the final day. So we'll see who comes out on top, and then we cast our eyes to the World Tour finals before, obviously, the Australian Open kickstarts 2023. Next on the channel, we're going to bring you episode 2 of the Coaches podcast. So that will be coming round soon. Subscribe button and like button is below, so make sure you hit that. And we'll be seeing you all very soon. Guys, thank you as always.
Cheers, Sam.
Cheers. We'll see you soon.
See you later.